Hello, I'm Steven,
And I'm Aaron.
and we've just seen Send
Send
Help!
help.
New film that's out in theaters right now, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, and it's directed by Sam Raimi. So, Linda Little is a mousy, socially awkward strategist struggling to work her way up the corporate ladder. Her co-workers do not respect her, the executives at the top take credit for her work, and Bradley Preston, the newly appointed CEO of financial management, denies her the promotion she was promised by his father, the former CEO. When Linda stands up to Bradley and insists that she has earned the promotion, Bradley invites her to accompany him and three other corporate stooges on a business trip to Bangkok, which they use as an opportunity to humiliate her. Just then, a storm blows through and plummets the plane into the ocean. Only Linda and a wounded Bradley survive. The power dynamic quickly shifts when Bradley realizes that while Linda is well prepared for this, he is utterly useless and has no authority over her anymore. So, Aaron, what did you think of Send Help?
Sam Raimi's back, baby.
Yeah, it's nice seeing him back after that multiverse of sadness. It's nice seeing him back in his element.
Yeah, this is one from the trailer as I wasn't so sure about because, like you said, Multiverse of Sadness was not too great.
Yeah, I didn't find the trailers all that encouraging. I thought this is probably going to be a dynamite role for Rachel McAdams, but the movie itself looks kind of schlocky,
Yeah,
and
well,
not in a good way.
yeah, well, yeah, I wasn't so sure about the trailers. I thought there's a lot of potential here, and it's Sam Raimi. I'd love to see what he can do with these actors with this premise, and boy, does he deliver.
Yeah, I could not have been more wrong. This exceeded my expectations. This is really, really solid. Probably one of his best films.
It's one of his best in a long time, if not overall. But the thing that really sells it is that it feels like old school Sam Raimi, like having as much fun as he can with an idea.
I'd say it feels like I kind of don't want to use the term evolved because I actually do really like Sam Raimi's old
Refined.
style. That I guess that's a good way to describe it. It does feel like a Sam Raimi film, but it feels like I guess a refined, somewhat evolved version of what he
Kind
used to
of like
be.
a more matured version. Yeah, I agree. It has a lot of his trademarks and a lot of the hallmarks of his movies.
Yeah, I've always loved his herky jerky camera work and his
Yeah,
awkward
like
cinematography.
he has very particular flourishes that he
Yeah,
uses in all his movies.
and there's traces of that, but it's a little bit more restrained than in like Evil Dead, which ultimately still works.
Yeah, although there are times when he completely lets the cat out of the bag and goes full Sam Raimi, which feels like few and far between, but when he does, it's earned and it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, although I do think that the movie is fairly straightforward for a lot of it. So whenever it does
Sure.
come to the points where he really goes all in on the violence and the absurdity of it, it does kind of create a incongruity and
Yeah.
dissonance,
Yeah.
but it never took me out of it.
It does play things kind of straight for the most part, and then you'll get like weird supernatural things that happen, or you think they're supernatural.
Multiverse of Sadness felt like a bunch of corporate stooges penning this shitty script, and then Sam Raimi just put a Sam Raimi paint job on it.
Yeah, yeah, it feels like director for hire, but he's trying to leave his stamp, where he can. I'll do this thing. I'll have my montage sequence because I have to have one of those.
Yeah, I don't think he wrote this because I don't think he writes most of his films, but this does feel very much like this is a film where he's steering the boat.
Yeah. And it has a lot of. If you've seen a lot of his movies, you recognize a lot of names in the credits, people that worked with him on many a movie. So it was nice to see them all back and have this actually feel like one of his projects and something that feels like one of his movies rather than a studio effort like an Oz or a Multiverse of Sadness. And he's one of those guys who's very much a stylist. Um, but like the type of movie he excels in making, I don't get tired of watching because he's so good at doing it.
So, in the role of Linda Little, as mentioned, is Rachel McAdams, and that's an actress that I feel like we haven't seen in a little while. I think she did like take a break for a while, but the only other thing I remember seeing her in recently was Doctor Strange. She annihilates it in this movie.
She is great. It's always interesting when they take beautiful or pretty actresses and they try to turn them into these kind of like
Homely looking
yeah, homely
characters.
or even uglified for in some movies versions of themselves and trying to see them pull that off, but she's got no trouble doing that here. She's such a pathetic character, but she's also extremely likable and easy to root for because she is somebody who has the thumb pressed down on her, the corporate thumb pressed down on her the whole time.
Yeah, she is very believable as a character who is lacking confidence,
Yeah.
but if she was able to acquire that confidence, she would dominate.
Yeah, that's just the thing is she has all the abilities and all the knowledge in the world and is completely capable. The thing she doesn't have is the confidence, and she doesn't quite believe in herself, or she doesn't push herself to take the position that she deserves. So yeah, when they crash on the island, the roles completely flip because Buddy Boy's got a busted leg and he can't do anything.
I'm sure you and I both were thinking of Triangle of Sadness all throughout it. It's like Sam Raimi's comedic take on it.
Yeah, I was thinking this is Sam Raimi does Triangle of Sadness and Castaway.
You and I both really like survival stories.
Yeah.
This is kind of that.
Yeah, the first third of this movie is kind of a speed run of Castaway. It's because Linda Little is
She's
we
well prepared.
yeah, she's very well prepared. We're shown early in the movie that she, watches Survivor all the time. She reads books about how to do things in the wild or how to survive or how to make this or how to make that
And
or
she's specifically her job is she's a strategist.
yeah.
She applies that to every facet of her life.
Yeah, so she doesn't just, have these abilities when they crash on the island. It's very well established the
Yeah,
type of person that she is.
yeah, it's set up extensively beforehand. And the role of Bradley, this little bitch CEO, very good acting.
Yeah,
Dylan
Dylan
O'Brien,
O'Brien. Yeah, he's fantastic in this too.
just a spoiled little rich kid who has just lucked into the he's inherited his position because his father Bruce Campbell is dead, and so he's just had everything handed to him, and he's a spoiled pampered little bitch. So when he gets crash landed on this island and his leg is busted and he has no survival skills, he's worthless. And pricks like this run the world today, and the movies is pretty much the only place you can go to see these guys get their comeuppance, and it is fun watching that happen.
It is. But I will say one thing that they do that I kind of didn't expect is they actually try to write him as a character who kind of has flaws that are explored and perhaps I don't want to say excuses, but they're trapped on an island together, so eventually they have to conversate about things.
Yeah, they humanize him. He's not a complete cartoon.
He's yeah, exactly. That's the thing I was afraid of. Is like, okay, it's one thing to have corporate bad guy, but then just have him be a cartoon corporate bad guy the whole movie. It's got to be some kind of character or personality in there somewhere, and thankfully they do write a character.
Yeah, his corporate stooges, they are the cartoons and they get wasted in a
Yeah,
delightful fashion.
because they're just a bunch of yes men that don't care because they're just there to climb the ladder and kiss the ring and suck the toes until they get the job. Yeah, they don't matter at all.
So when Linda Little has to go boar hunting, this is a section where it really goes into the Sam Raimi of it all, and
Yeah.
it just feels like something you'd see out of Evil Dead. The way the boar is portrayed is cartoonish. There's even a dream sequence where you get a jump scare from what is basically a deadite.
Yeah, it's a zombified, ghostly character that pops up. That's the kind of the supernatural stuff I was talking to. He's not afraid to play with ideas that shouldn't fit within this premise,
Yeah,
but he makes them make sense and he makes them fun. And like you were saying with the boar, it's a CG boar, and the CG is not very good, but at the same time, it's such a cartoonish sequence to begin with that you kind of hand wave it.
yeah. I was wondering after the fact if the CG was wonky by design because Sam Raimi's movies are peppered with wonky, janky special effects, and that's part of the charm.
Even during the plane crash sequence, there's all kind of wacky stuff that happens with people's like eyes popping out or teeth getting knocked out of their head and like flying at the camera and stuff like that. I don't know if this was a 3D movie release, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I heard about that.
it felt like there were some sequence that were designed for 3D, but it's probably just Sam Raimi doing his thing. So yeah, stuff like that didn't bother me.
Did you know where the movie was going? There's a, I guess you could say, a twist. Did you pick up on that? Because I wasn't 100% sure where this thing was going. And then when the thing happened, it's like, oh, okay. Why didn't I think of that?
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now. No, I never thought of that for 1 second. They hint at that a little bit in the beginnings of being crashed on the island, but they don't really dwell on it too much, and your mind kind of goes to like, "Oh, okay, well, it makes sense that it's this thing, and we're just gonna, not worry about it for now." But then it comes back later as a reveal and yeah, it makes a lot more sense there.
And then Linda Little, it's interesting. Her morality is challenged
Hmm.
as the movie goes on, and yet when we get to the end of the movie, obviously can't say what it is, but I still found it very satisfying how this movie resolved in the very, very end.
Yeah. The other thing I didn't really expect was with the way they wrote Bradley Preston. Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, the corporate bad guy of the movie. Yeah, kind of the back and forth between him and Rachel McAdams, and the way their characters kind of evolve over the course of the movie. They kind of try to draw you in with thinking, okay, maybe the story is going to go one direction with these characters. But yeah, things kind of have to resolve a certain way in the finale to be satisfying, and boy, is it satisfying. The climax of this thing just goes off the rails in such a great way.
Yeah, in a way that only Sam Raimi can do.
Yeah, there is like a visual gag and a joke to that just caps the whole thing off. It's one of the best transitions, match cuts in any of his movies I think ever.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
it's another thing that's set up at the very beginning and then pays off in a very
Yes.
hilarious, satisfying way at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is also the first time in years where I actually enjoyed a Danny Elfman score.
Oh yeah.
Because, Danny
Yeah.
Elfman, I love Danny Elfman. I love 80s, 90s, early 2000s Danny Elfman, but that man's been on autopilot for like a decade.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Beetlejuice, which is
Recycled material
yeah,
with some flourish.
it's Beetlejuice. But yeah, I agree. This is the first Danny Elfman score in a while where I felt like, oh, he can still do this, and he still has, again, like Sam Raimi, he's very much a stylist who has a very particular thing he does very well. So it was nice to see him kind of back on top of his game as well. There's a lot of like great character moments all throughout the movie with Rachel McAdams as Linda building a house basically out of sticks and leaves and twigs, and
Yeah, building houses, building shelters, building hammocks, building hats and accessories, bags.
yeah, yeah, builds a life for herself on this island. Like she'll have whole feasts, and she's making wine, and Buddy's over there with nothing really.
He's eating bugs.
He's eating bugs to survive. Just watching that power dynamic shift is extremely satisfying. It's just very well played, and the comedic timing from both of the actors is great.
Yeah, the character dynamics are worthwhile. The acting is excellent on both actors' parts. The direction is tremendous. Sam Raimi has
Hmm.
lost none of his magic. It's only been hiding.
Yeah, when he's not got the corporate thumb on him,
Yes.
it's amazing what he can do with a script and an idea.
Unshackle your artist, Hollywood.
Yeah, that's kind of the message and the
The thesis.
yeah, I mean, what we should really be striving for in Hollywood is like stop with the corporate IP driven stuff where everything's a cash cow and it's just assembly line filmmaking. Like, let the artists cook, let them do what they do best because they know better.
So, what is your final number grade on a scale of 1 to 10?
Um, for everything I liked, I will say like it's not all that new of an idea, and it doesn't really push the genre in any super meaningful ways. Not that it really has to. It's just a really fun time at the movies. So I'd probably give it like a very strong 8, like a borderline 9. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, agreed. Same. Strong 8, borderline 9. This is just pure entertainment.
Yeah.
So, that's Send Help. Definitely see it.